There's an old Greek philosopher who went by the name of Socrates. He had a saying that the secret to change is to not focus all of your energy on the old, but building the new. As humans, we all make mistakes. It's inevitable. It will happen. But that's one of the beautiful things about life. Although we don't know what the future holds, we possess the power to mold it, whether it be good or bad. Some learn from others' mistakes, while others have to learn from experience. But in the end, it's up to you to take those lessons and apply them to your everyday life. That way change can take effect. Sadly, some have to learn the hard way and are forced to live with their mistakes. September 18th, 2013. The world would make way for Jaslyn Adams. She would be brought into this world by her father, Jaslyn Adams, and her mother, Lanisha Walker. By the time Jaslyn Adams, or who others knew as Pinky, entered this world, she would be the youngest of 5 other siblings. But despite being the youngest, she held the most influence and was by all means the queen of the family. She was a child with an incredible sense of humor. She enjoyed dancing, baking, or making TikTok videos. Her father describes her as a child who had a teenage sense of humor, always cracking jokes, and was even a little sarcastic. But when she wasn't busy doing that, she liked sitting back with a pack of Skittles or M&Ms and watching her favorite YouTuber, Funny Mike. She was outspoken, energetic, and possessed a smile that could light the darkest of spaces. With her bubbly personality, it was an attribute that her siblings learned to capitalize off of, often sending Pinky to ask for things because she rarely heard the word no. She was just your average 7-year-old child, ready to take on the world. April 18th, 2021. It was a normal day for Jaslyn, but on this day, she would be spending the day at her aunt's home. While playing with her siblings, she would work up an appetite and decide to contact her father, Jonte, to pick her up in order to go to McDonald's to retrieve a Happy Meal. With Jonte being in a position to give his daughter what she wanted, he wasn't about to tell her no, so he picks his daughter up and he drives to the McDonald's. On the way to McDonald's, Jonte and his daughter Pinky were casually arguing about a subject. He doesn't really remember what they were arguing about, but it was just Pinky being the queen that she was. But upon arriving at the McDonald's and entering the drive-thru line, that playful argument would be cut short because something tragic would happen. A silver Audi would pull up on that day. 2 men would hop out of the car, and they would proceed to fire off more than 45 shots. The 2 men would then run back to the vehicle and speed off, and when the smoke cleared, it would leave Jaslyn Adams injured. But along with his injury, his daughter would sustain multiple gunshot wounds, and she would be rushed to the hospital. But once 7-year-old Jaslyn Adams reaches Stroger Hospital, she would be pronounced dead, and the city of Chicago would be placed on high alert, actively searching for the perpetrators. On the day of the incident happening, the aftermath would just so happen to be captured on someone's cell phone, and they would post the video to Facebook. Immediately after, the video goes viral, and along with the video becoming viral, it would place the 2 parents in the spotlight, and they would face heavy backlash for what happened to their daughter. When word spreads nationally about the death of 7-year-old Jaslyn Adams, social media begins to pry into the lives of the father and the mother. They would find out that the father was a rapper who had ties to the streets. Upon learning this information, he would face heavy scrutiny, A lot of people believe that what happened to his daughter was a direct reflection of the life that he was living. Shortly after the incident, a video would arise. In this video, someone alleged that it was her father urinating on the grave of his opposition. However, the father alleges that that video wasn't him, and he was on house arrest at the time. And whoever that was in the video, he doesn't know who it was. The people who placed this video on social media were claiming that this was the sole cause of what happened in the McDonald's drive-thru. And after it was released, her father would be forced to turn to the media in order to tell his side of the story.
It was an emotional vigil tonight, her father joining with relatives calling for justice for Jaslyn.
Daddy. Last words. Daddy. A panicking daddy. I see my daughter face down in my car. I will never forget those. I want my daughter's killers locked up.
Jaslyn Adams was just released from the hospital yesterday.
Still have a bullet in my spine. Like my left leg temporarily probably paralyzed. I'm in a lot of pain. On top of watching my daughter take her last breath.
He's heartbroken over the loss of his daughter and angry over reports he says are assaulting his character as a father.
It seems like it's more press on me than the people who killed my baby. That's even making me hurt more.
Let's focus on the killer. Let's get my grandbaby justice. Let's get her the peace that she needs. Yeah. Then we'll worry about all that other stuff. Right now, that's not the problem. No. The problem is we got killers still running the street who killed a 7-year-old baby. Yeah, that's the problem.
Tonight, the community gathered to pray and grieve together and support the family. Detectives continue to investigate. So far, no one is in custody, and the family is hoping that changes soon.
While her father was under scrutiny, the police had an investigation to work because, after all, a 7-year-old child lost their life, and at this point, the only information they had was that a silver Audi pulled up and began firing shots. With the story making national headlines, the police would be placed in the spotlight, and they would be forced to work vigorously in order to capture the perpetrators. And 2 days into their investigation, it would pay off. An arrest warrant would be issued for 18-year-old Marion Lewis, who at this point in time was believed to be the getaway driver of the incident. He would be captured roughly a week after the death of Jaslyn Adams.
You can run, but you can't hide.
There were 2 guns recovered from when he was arrested on the 290, and one of them was an AK-47, like pistol grip sort of pistol. Both those weapons that were on his person that were recovered, they did test positive to the murder weapons used at the scene to kill Jaslyn.
And a week later, they would have another in custody. Authorities would arrest 21-year-old Damon Goody, who was believed to be a shooter at the time, brandishing a .40 caliber pistol at the scene of the crime. With the getaway driver and one of the shooters in custody, the authorities knew that they were looking for at least one more person, and they were soon to find out who this guy was. After arresting the 2 suspects, they would decide to view their Instagram pages, and immediately after, they would make a connection to another man, 22-year-old Devontae Anderson. Devontae Anderson was believed to be the other shooter in the incident, and once they found out, they would issue a warrant for his arrest. But there was one problem. After locating his Facebook page and tracking his location, they were soon to find out that he had already fled to Miami, Florida, and was no longer in the Chicago area. And this would make the search for him that much harder. The police would then release a bolo on this guy, as well as announcing a reward for any information to his whereabouts. In 2.5 months after launching an investigation into this perpetrator, he would be captured. But when he was captured, it wasn't in Miami. It isn't clear when he returned to Chicago, but when he was taken into custody, he was in his hometown. In July of 2021, authorities would announce that they have arrested all 3 suspects in the shooting death of 7-year-old Jaslyn Adams. And by October of 2021, the authorities would announce another arrest, 23-year-old Eric Keys Jr. Although this guy wasn't present at the scene of the shooting, he did purchase the firearm used to commit the act.
7-year-old Jaslyn Adams was in the McDonald's drive-thru with her father on April 18th. That's when investigators say 3 suspects fired multiple rounds into the car on the city's west side, killing the 7-year-old. Jaslyn's grandmother, LaWanda McMullen, worried police wouldn't be able to track down her killers.
When it first happened, I was like, she was just going to be another case on the shelf. But like I said, when they caught the first 2, I was pretty hopeful that they was going to catch the third one.
Days after the murder, 18-year-old Marion Lewis led police on a chase which ended on the Eisenhower Expressway. Prosecutors say Lewis was driving the vehicle that Anderson and Gowdy used to fire at Jaslyn and her father. Investigators also tracked down 21-year-old Demond Gowdy, who prosecutors say fired several shots at the car. But for the past 3 months, though, and a $25,000 reward, the search for the final suspect, 22-year-old Devontae Anderson, continued.
There's a lot of things go through your head when the suspect is still on the run.
Finally, FBI investigators confirmed Anderson's arrest without incident Monday in Chicago, bringing some relief for the young girl's family that justice will be served.
All right, we out here, people. It's live, uncut, unedited.
I'm Jaslyn's grandfather. And I just want to thank Sean and his guys for putting this thing together. The commander, officer, we want to thank you guys. From the bottom of our hearts, we want to thank everybody who come out here and support my grandbaby. It's a hard pill to swallow, but I'm going to tell you all, we can get through this. And we're going to make it through this as a hood, as a community, as a unit, as one. So this is what I want each and every one of y'all to do. We're going to try to promote peace. We want peace, but we want justice also. This is what I want everybody to get out of this whole situation. We can't continue to hold the police accountable for what they doing. We can't hold our own accountable for what we do. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the streets. I've been in the streets. I've been there, done that. And this is hurtful. You know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, we lived by a code. You know what I'm saying? No women, no kids. We didn't play like that. We protect each other. We protect the community. The police, we won't need them. The campers, we won't need them if we protect each other. We have to start standing up and do the right thing also. We can't keep on harboring these killers that's doing senseless drive-bys and all those things, taking our kids out. We can't continue to cover them. They broke the code. We didn't break it. So we have to do what we need to do so our communities can be safe. So our communities can have our kids to ride their bikes without worrying about gunshots and bullets flying over their head. If we're going to hustle right. Do it the right way. Don't put no innocent people in the business. Don't do it. My grandbaby was innocent.
No, you don't put your feet on nothing. I got my feet on.
Really? I thought you said with no feet on.
All the way doing something.
She was innocent regardless of what my son did. She was innocent. She didn't deserve it. If you knew that she was in the car, she didn't deserve it. So all I'm saying is protect our women and our kids and our community. Let's have peace. If we're going to be men, we got to stand up as men. We can't sit down on the situation. This is just the beginning. This is the beginning, y'all. This is the beginning. Jaslyn brought all of us together for a purpose. I'm talking about from east, west, south, and north. But we have to hold each other accountable too. There's no tricking. There's no, man, you sold me out. No, you sold yourself out. Get your target. Don't get everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll deal with the situation as it goes. But I just love each and every one of y'all. We're going to do this balloon release for Jaslyn. Hey, y'all got to stop the violence. Stop killing our kids. Stop killing our women. Stop killing innocent people. I love y'all.
I love you too.
Y'all play GTA? Oh, big girl, big girl. There you go, Slide.
I see. I wanted to drive right there.
The year's now 2023, and Devontae Anderson, Marion Lewis, and Damon Goody are all charged with murder and are awaiting trial. However, 23-year-old Eric Keys Jr. had his day in court on July 7th, and when it was all said and done, he wouldn't face charges for murder. In fact, he wouldn't even face prison time. The judge would award him probation for purchasing the firearm, which a lot of people highly disagree with. As far as the motive goes, it's still to be discussed, and I guess that they'll reveal more during the trial. In the beginning of the video, I talked about change and learning from your experience. I know when it comes to this case that it's a touchy-feely subject. Some people are going to feel this way, and some people are going to feel that way. Which leads me to the next question. Was her father's life a direct reflection of what happened to Jaslyn? The answer is yes. He lived a street life and his past caught up with him. But I also want you to be very mindful that he is taking full responsibility of what happened, and anything that transpired, he's paying for it.
It don't hit social media so big, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's all me. That's my fault. Everything that's going on is my fault. I take full accountability for everything. Wow. You know what I'm saying? For his grieving, my baby. I take full accountability. And to anybody who living how I was living or think they want to live how I was living, it's not the way. Honest to God, because especially if you have a child, because I haven't felt no love that I felt that little girl gave me since she's been gone.
There is no harsher sentence that you can receive than losing someone you love. If you are watching this video, I want you to realize that this is a true example that the street life isn't going to pan out for anyone. I made mention in the beginning that some people learn from other people's mistakes, while others have to experience it. But right now, this is your time to learn from someone else's mistake. The story of Jaslyn Pinky Adams is truly devastating. 7 years old. 7. And her life was cut short because 3 grown men decided to drive to a McDonald's and act a fool. It's just all around tragic. It makes absolutely 0 sense. Rest in peace, Jaslyn Adams. Thank you for being a light for others.